Run it up, I can't show no love. Run it up, I can't show no love. Large amount, we get large amount. Large amount, we flip large amount. Run it up, I can't show no love. Run it up, I can't show no love. Large amount, we get large amount. Large amount, we flip large amount. The trap just like an army base.
Yo, welcome to Sports and Street Talk.
What's up?
What's going on? My name is Josh Portis. You got Rob Gordon right here to the right of me and Rock Jones over here to the left.
What it do?
Before I get into it, we got a special guest today. My man Vernon Davis and pretty much came in and wanted to tune in and enjoy the show. So we're going to get started. Rob, start it off, baby.
Welcome, man. Welcome, Vernon, man. Welcome to the Sports and Street Talk podcast. Got to give you a hand clap for it. Wish we had some bells and some sirens. You deserve it, brother. You deserve it. Well, welcome to the show, man. We're gonna jump right in. So this episode is called Culture Raised. So we pretty much talking about, how you were raised as a youth, and then how did that bringing up or raising, kind of evolve or make you become the person who you are today, as far as business off the field and then as well on the field. So we're gonna talk a little bit, but welcome to the show. Welcome on in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just free for all, man.
Yeah,
just enjoy yourself.
So before we get into it, Vernon Davis, man, a problem really on the football field, but more importantly,
my favorite tight end to ever come out.
Hall of Famer, no doubt.
4-3.
Come on, man.
Ain't nobody else.
Come on, man.
Super Bowl champion.
Come on.
15-year pro.
Oh my goodness.
Come
on, run the accolades. Josh. Come on, you know him.
Tireless work ethic. But more importantly, I respect his business mind. Who he is off the field.
My goodness.
He's a good person. And he's all about positive vibes, and he wants to see people do well, and that's what I really appreciate and respect about him the most. Just off the field wise. Now to get on the field, I gotta run the play from last year that
Not
pretty
when
much
you
had
all the Eagles.
Had everybody started. Rock Jones, you already over there spitting what I'm gonna say, and you already know what I'm on. You guys already know what I'm on.
Excited. Come on, man. Excited.
That play against the Philadelphia Eagles when the quarterback rolled out, threw you a flat pass, and then all of a sudden you pretty much, you did your thing after that.
God.
It was one of those plays that, you got to see it. He pretty much jumped over the guy.
Hurdled the dude.
And then, took it the distance, man. Tell me about the play, man.
Yeah, man, it was, it was actually an emotional play for me because I remember getting ready that day and we was about to go to hit the Philly.
Yeah.
And I got a call from my grandmother saying my grandfather had passed. So, I just broke down. I had to rush to the house and I spent the entire day just dealing with helping the family out and just, consoling them and all that. But then I had to turn around and fly to Philly. Mm-hmm. So I averaged about 2 hours of sleep that night. And I had to get up and play that game, and all I could think of was my grandfather. So when I caught that pass, I just, I don't even think I remember the play, the catch, or the entire play that day or that week. You know what I mean? It was just, it's just something that just happened.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Was that more emotional for you than the catch 3?
Which catch 3? You got to explain.
Catch 3, okay. Well, the 49ers have 3 prominent plays in their archive. It was the one to Dwight Clark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Terrell Owens was number 2. Then my catch was catch 3.
The one where you called it cried.
Yeah, when I called it cried. It was like 15 seconds left. So that was that was pretty emotional. But both of them was the one I had against the Eagles was probably more emotional because of the story behind it. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this. So you have moved through the football. You done with that. You wrapped up. Congratulations, Hall of Famer.
Appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
You still can do it.
Oh, no, you can still go. I mean, you can still sign a contract. The Redskins need you. Washington football team. We're no longer the Redskins. But that's stupid. So you moved on past football. So what are you working on now? Talk to us.
Right now, my passion, man. My passion has always been in the arts.
Okay.
I grew up as an artist. I've always been interested in painting. I changed my major when I was at the University of Maryland from criminal justice to art studio, where where I went on and I just I was intrigued with the world of art.
Okay.
And from there, I just fell in love with acting. So now, I'm acting, producing content, and just working on the craft.
Okay.
He looks good on that film too, by the way.
Man, look good.
You know,
Did you
he
have
look
good?
good. That's
Might
his
be the next
natural
Rock. Might be the next Rock. I don't know. He might take the Rock job. He done moved on. He on the XFL now. He ain't got time. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. So you got anything coming out right now?
Yeah, Red Winter is in post-production. That's almost done. And then we have Message from Brianna, which is a horror film, a possession film.
Okay.
That we'll see, which is going to be probably one of the best films right now. I think, in my opinion, the entire cast did a great job.
Okay.
I felt like I did a solid job as far as my performance. The places I had to go as far as range, it was solid. So I'm looking forward to that film to come out.
Okay. And I know you just did something on BET. How was that?
Oh, that was good too. I had a role as a police officer. I had to arrest this kid who had paranoid schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, the emotions that I had to draw off of that was really close to home because my brother got diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. So
Right.
my substitution, I just kept seeing him.
Right.
I'm going in and I'm arresting my own brother.
Right.
So I had to put myself in the place of a cop. And what does that look like going in and arresting a kid with paranoid schizophrenia? You have to be assertive, but you also want to be cognizant that, hey, this kid has an emotional disorder, so I have to be careful.
Okay.
How you felt you did in the role?
I felt I did a great job. It was solid. I feel like I did great. Preparation was there, and that's the key when it comes to acting. And you just want to make sure that you're prepared before you go into any role.
It is.
Let's talk about that, the preparation, right? I mean, obviously you've been preparing for a long time, playing in the National Football League, preparing, and then preparing in the film. Like, what's the difference of preparing on a script, right? Of knowing, all the different type of words that you got to say, the posture, the mannerisms of, how you got to present yourself on film.
Yeah.
And then, obviously the difference of preparing on a football field where you study plays, X's and O's, studying your opponent. What's the difference? Talk to me about that.
I think the correlation is there between both because it's all between the lines, right? I say between the lines because, like, when you're preparing to go out on Sundays to play a game, you want to make sure you put all the work in beforehand, right? Whether it's in the classroom or on the field.
Right.
You want to exhaust yourself in the craft where when it comes Sunday, you don't,
Right.
you know that you're mentally and physically prepared and can't nobody stop you from doing what you want to do, right?
Right.
And just like acting, you want to prepare yourself a month and a half, 2 months out before you get on set, just to fill yourself with all of the emotions and the verbiage on that page, and just being attached to like just everything, the backstory, the substitution, your moment before, all of those things, so that when you go in, you just you're focused and you're confident.
Right.
Who are some of your influences as far as the sports and the acting?
Yeah, my biggest influence has always been as a kid was Vince Carter from a basketball side. I never really played football.
That's crazy.
It's interesting.
Vince
That's
Carter,
interesting.
half man,
That's
half
That's just
amazing.
point of view.
Yeah.
Why Vince?
I don't know. It was just something about him. I emulated him, man. I just wanted to be just like Vince because I wasn't really into football when I was growing up. I didn't start playing football till 10th grade.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Late
They
bloomer.
went
They
to
went to Dunbar High School, yeah.
Late bloomer.
I didn't start playing there because I just always been into basketball. So Vince Carter was always the guy. As far as acting, I say Will Smith, Denzel Washington was always.
What made football the choice?
Because basketball wasn't working out really. They had, I wasn't growing anymore. And for my position, I was playing power forward. So they had all these guys that was like 6'5", 6'7". I was only 6'4", and I wasn't growing for the position. So I just, tried to, just pivot and switch over to football.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Vince Carter, half man, half
Half
amazing.
man, half amazing.
We used to call you the freak. Remember back in the day? Like,
Man,
you
the
dog.
listen to this. Check this out. The first time, I worked out with Vernon, we was all actually working out. We was right there at Coolidge, and we was working out with Myron at the time. And I gotta tell you, I was on the field, and pretty much, I saw this 6'3", 250 guy, all muscle. I'm like, man, what's going on?
Who is this robot?
Who is this guy, right? So we started running on track. We was doing what, 200? We was working on.
200.
We was doing a track workout. And I was like, yeah, I got this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and get him. I knew he was fast, but he ain't moving like me, right? Shoot.
He took off.
He took off. And I was like, man, this is a different animal. This guy in a whole different league right here. He's a whole different league. Moving like a horse, literally.
Bro.
Moving like a horse.
We got to the 50-yard mark. He was at the 80. We was like, what the fuck?
Combine running that 4.38. He blew my mind. Yo. I was like,
So you don't really see too many guys at 6'3", 250 coming out of college run 4.38. I mean, he pretty much changed the game at the tight end position of being very athletic and, you know, making plays after the catch. I'm sure Alex Smith, you know, he's getting better right now as far as, you know, his rehab injury, but I'm sure he enjoyed you as a weapon for sure.
sending out prayers, Alex.
Sending out prayers for sure.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely one of my favorite quarterbacks.
So we were talking about preparation and we were talking about football as well. How did you get to 4.38 at 6'4"?
You know what? I don't know, man. It was just something I was blessed with, I guess.
Okay.
Because when I walked into Dunbar in 10th grade, I was just, you know, they had guys like Josh Cribbs there, Daryl Dowry, who was a wide receiver there. They were all fast, and they were looking at me. You know, I walk in 10th grade, I'm like 6'3", 215 pounds. I'm running by everybody. Right. And you can still see that I have room to grow. It was just always there. I just always had speed for some reason.
Just a
And
click.
as I got bigger, gained weight, I got up to about 650 pounds. I still had my same speed.
Yeah,
I
I really think you changed the game as far as tight ends. Like, you were the closest thing to a wide receiver.
appreciate it. Thank you.
It was.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back and really get into the topic what we're talking about today, which is culture raise. So stay tuned with us, and we'll be right back.
You can say I told you so. If I ever leave you, babe. If I ever leave you, babe. You can say I told you so. You can say I told you so. If I ever leave you, babe. If I ever leave you, babe. You can say I told you so. You can say I told you so. If I ever leave you, babe. If I ever leave you, babe. You can say I told you so. You can say I told you so. If I ever leave you, babe. If I ever leave you, babe. You can say I told you so. You can say I told you that I love you.
Yeah, welcome back to Sports and Street Talk. Before we get into the episode of Culture Raise, check us out on www.snstalk.net. All your latest apparel right there. You got your hoodies, masks, joggers. We got a dope fashion line with the hats coming out real soon. But check us out on the website. Like I said, tune in on all those latest episodes on the website too as well. We're going to start and kick this episode off with Culture Raise. Culture Raise to me, we're all from different cultures. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Rob Gordon's from D.C. Vernon Davis is from D.C. and Rock Jones is from Atlanta. And, you know, it's all about the culture, right, and how you was brought up and made you who you are today. I know me from being in Los Angeles, California, I have this laid-back, cool personality, right? You know, the vibe out there is very different. But, you know, growing up with being having my mom and not having my father, it kind of made me try to be my own man growing up. And I learned a lot on my own. My mother didn't really she wasn't really kind of like that mother figure, like was very like, oh baby, like being very emotional and needy. She was very like, come on, let's get it done. Like she was very hard on me. And it kind of like made me to like who I am today as far as like, all right, let's get it done. Like what's the next thing? Let's get it done. So I want to kick it off with Rob, start with you off first and elaborate on kind of like your culture and how, you know, you was raised.
So growing up in D.C., and Vernon can attest to this, it was a lot of, it was street influence, but it was also, you know, you had the sports piece. So it's odd that we at this crossroads, because for me growing up in my household, my dad was a coach. So sports was very much in my house. Like that's what we did. That's how we talked. My dad even talked to me in sports terms. Like everything he did was sports. And I remember a lot of times watching Vernon going up to Dunbar and watching those games because they were the older guys and they were the guys that you kind of wanted to be like. It was either growing up here, you even wanted to be like the street guys or you wanted to be like the ball players. It was or go. That was kind of like the 3 lanes that you could choose to go down. And in my house, it was sports. That's what we did. That's what we eat, slept, and breathed. And that's kind of my influence. So that's kind of just the grit. Grit no quit mentality, and that's kind of how I was raised. We did the go thing here, which is a whole nother conversation which we can kind of delve into a little bit. But
go music.
Yeah. That's a culture in itself. That's a culture raised.
When I first heard that go, I was like, what's going on?
Man, listen. So with that that's a whole nother lane. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up within this era, man, that's something that was like fun for us. That's the outing. Some cities y'all in Atlanta, y'all go to the skating ring. In LA, y'all go to the beach. In DC, we go to the go-go. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for us, that's where our culture is surrounded by, and that's the heartbeat essentially of our culture. So when a couple months ago, when they was trying to shut down go-go, that brought everybody together. So back in the day, that for us was, beef here or beefing with this neighborhood. But essentially, you take go-go away, you take the heartbeat of DC away. Yeah. So, we come together in that thought process, and we're not gonna let you take our music. Like that's not happening. But I can let you elaborate a little bit more on the DC culture and how you kind of was raised. But my background was more so, sports, straight sports. Yeah.
I feel like you said it all. I don't have anything else to say. I mean, you had to have it right on the nail, man. That was spot on, man. Just like you said, it's just like, our culture was go-go. We lived for go-go. That's what it was about. Like if you wasn't going to see a go-go backyard, Rare Essence, or you're gonna be in your backyard with buckets.
Right. Yeah. Trying to figure it out.
Uptown,
Southside.
Hey, where you at? Like, it was just like it was always go-go, man. It was a big influence on our culture, in our community. That's what we live for. But like he said, growing up, the guy that I looked up to was the guys hanging out in the corner. Yeah. It was maybe it may have been like you might have had like 25 friends out there, but it was always the older guy that you looked up to that was a great basketball player, right? He always he had most talent in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
That was the guy that I looked up to, but he also sold drugs,
right?
But it's just something that I was accustomed to. It was nothing like every morning that I woke up, I just wanted to get outside. Yeah. I just wanted to go stand in the corner or stand in between the block. You know what I mean? Not doing anything wrong, but just hanging out with those guys. It was just
being
was
around.
something about it.
Right.
Just being around.
Right.
That's what the culture was.
Yeah.
So do y'all believe that culture came from the generation before y'all?
As far as what, go-go?
As far as everything, the whole race, like just being brought up in DC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think, DC culture, it's weird because like
it's different than anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you got to think about where it was cultivated from, right? So you had Chuck Brown, right, who was originally from the South, came up to DC and started this genre of music, right? Yeah. But the basis of the genre of music came from, if you do the history of it, it came from Africa. You know what I mean? The drum influence, the steel pan influence, which then became the cowbell. All of that influence came from Africa. So that's where the base of go-go music came from. That's where it evolved from. And then it evolved into, what it is and the dancing and the shaking of the ass and all of that, that we grew to love. But right. the root of where it came from Africa, and then it evolved into everything else. So I think, that definitely came from the generations prior to us, which came out of slavery, then migrated up to DC, and then migrated, here and the music and all of that stuff. So that's, So absolutely, to answer your question, yes. Yeah.
So I know, in Los Angeles, California, it's a whole different vibe out there.
What's that gang culture like out there?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you got the Crips and the Bloods, you got the MS-13s that a lot of people don't know about out there. It's a lot of different elements out there, let's just put it like that kind of inhibits on like what you need to do out there, because you gotta pick a lane and stay in it. What I mean by when I say that is, me growing up, it's the drugs, the streets, sports. My mom kept me in a house where, Josh, this is your calling, and I knew it was my calling. It was playing sports, playing the quarterback position, and trying to play it at the highest level. There was a lot of different elements around that. With distraction with the house parties is big out there.
Of course.
Pool parties, the beautiful weather, the beautiful women out there, the beach parties. There's so many different elements, and there's so many different type of parties to go to, right? You got your house parties, you got your clubs, you got your, block parties, you got, the beach parties. It's different. It's a big culture out there where you got to pick one and stay in it, because if you try to pick too many, you're going to get lost. Yeah. So for me, it was like staying in one lane and staying in that lane and staying in my lane. And I think I've done that to try to stay in my lane to the best of my ability. But it's something that, you have to like chime in and just hone in and be like, look, this is what I'm going to do.
You never got gangbanged on?
I mean, all the time. I mean, like, they'll be like, what set you from?
Yeah.
What set you from, cuz? Like, what's up? What's up, blood? It's a different feel out there. The red and blue Chucks is something that's real big out there, right? If you go to like certain neighborhoods like Compton and Crenshaw, Watts, Inglewood, you got your Inglewood families, you got your neighborhood rolling 60s, you got your rolling 20s, rolling 40s, all Crip gangs. Then you got your Inglewood family, you got your neighborhood Pyrus. Those are the blood families. So it's a lot of things that you gotta, understand out there. Because if you don't, you'll be lost for sure. What they would say, you'd be lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. You don't want to be lost in the sauce, especially out there. So it's something that, was different for me. And I chose to play sports. I chose to stay in that lane. And happily, I made it out of that area because, Crenshaw, California is a little bit different. Slauson and Dean is something that, you're not really be proud to be from, but you are. And, you try to build people that's in that community. Because that's where you're from, right? So you want to see people do well, and that's the main thing. And you never should be ashamed where you come from. Right. At the same time, you want to help others that come from that area just because you were just like them growing up. Yeah,
absolutely. And one thing too, I took notice of, like, you can come up in it, but you don't have to be in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And as a kid, you're always attracted to it initially because you're just going with the wind, right? You want to be on with T-Mob, I'm with 11th Street. That's what I'm rapping, right? Yeah. Who you with, bro? I'm with 11th Street, man. Like that's all. But then you get a certain age, you start to see things happen. You start losing friends, and things just start to happen. It just doesn't seem right. So now you have to pull back. And what happens is that when you're in it and the people around you recognize that, hey, he's not about this. Right. We're just proud of him. They become proud of you because you're doing something with yourself. You're doing something that they don't have the capacity to be able to understand, right? Yeah. And that's what happened with me. Like, they saw that I was focused, and every time they see me, I got a basketball in my hand. I'm playing football. I'm going to work on my game. I was the kid in the neighborhood that was devoted and ambitious, and they saw that. Mm-hmm. So they kind of protected me. Right. They appreciated.
Like, not him. They
appreciated that I was going somewhere. Right. He's going somewhere. Let him do this.
Let him go. Let him pass.
I just go to the court, go home. Yeah. I didn't stay out in the streets. They didn't see me really. No. Stop going out.
Did they try you growing up?
When I was younger,
you was a big guy, but
when I was younger, when I was probably between the ages of between 5th grade and 7th grade, that's when guys try to come at you, whatever. But you had when you had your boys, they always had your back. Right. So it was like, I'm with these guys. You always had somebody in your group that was crazy, or that everybody respected. Yeah. So when he came around, it was like, all right, I'm good. I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not gonna bother you. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So you got a little brother, right? Vernon Davis. So how was that growing up with him in the house? Like, did you force him to play ball? Was that a thing, or did Tay kind of pick that up on his own? Was that like how was that? And I know y'all have a lot of other siblings as well. Like, how was that in the house?
I did force him to play because Vontae was always on his video game. He stayed in the house. He didn't come outside. I was the one running around in the streets and always outside until midnight as a young kid. But Vontae always stayed in the house. But I had to take him. I remember when I was in junior high school. In high school, I would make him go to Roosevelt Senior High School, a local high school in our community. I would make him go, and I would just make up workouts. Okay. Mm-hmm. he didn't understand what I was doing, but I wanted him to follow me. I knew I was going to be successful. I was on a journey, and I wanted him to go where I was going.
Right.
So I would just make him wake up at 6, 7 in the morning and just take him by the hand
Crazy
and make him work out.
Right.
And I guess he just adapted to it, right? And he just followed my footsteps.
That's crazy.
For
Who
people
kept
that
you grounded the whole time?
My grandmother, she was always in my ear, man. She always told me one thing that stuck with me, that resonates. She said, just because you don't go outside and hang with your friends anymore. This was in the 8th grade. This is when I started to pull back and I changed everything. I was like, cause I started losing my friends. One of my buddies got, his eye was missing, and all kinds of stuff started happening.
Right.
So I just I can't be. If I'm going here, I have to really shape up and stay away from this, right? So I stayed in the house. She's like, just because you stay in the house and you don't talk to them anymore, don't mean you have to turn your back on, because you never know when you'll need that person. She said, you never turn your back on somebody just because you guys don't see eye to eye, because you never know when you need them.
That's real.
Now, was she able to keep Vontae grounded? And you got another brother too, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Michael.
Yeah.
Michael Davis. Michael was before his time. He taught Vontae how to play ball, and he was 4 years younger. I remember walking in from college, and Vontae was in 11th grade, right? He was getting knocked down. He just wasn't performing as Vontae really started to peak. He really peaked at his senior year. I think 10th and 11th and 12th grade, 10th and 11th, between 10th and 11th, he struggled. And Mike was in that house, 4 years younger than Vontae, teaching him how to play. And I was laughing so hard. I was like, this is funny.
Mike was a dog.
Mike's before his time. Rob knows.
Mike was a dog. Yeah. I remember actually playing against Vontae. I was a junior, and he was a senior, and all we kept hearing about was Aurelius Ben. And when we played Dunbar at Dunbar, we kicked it to because Regis was on one side and Tay was on the other side. We kicked it to Tay, and Tay took off. I said, "Who is number 4?" He was not on the scouting report. And this Bama had a hell of a game. He probably went to college off of us. That game. He was that dynamic in that game. Oh my God! It was like the second game of the season.
Turn on. He was turning on. He turned
on.
He was a late bloomer.
Vontae
was a late bloomer. When he left, he was a late bloomer. But once he got it, oh man, you see, he left college early.
Yeah.
So he definitely turned it on.
When he got it, he got it.
The Davis family, very athletic, man. Good people. Stay tuned, man. We're gonna get back into our session. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna get back into a little bit more of the topic of culture race. All right. Stay tuned.
Say I told you so. You can say I told you so.
I want to put y'all on 2 amazing products. I want to start with Riff. Riff is a coffee beverage. They figured out a way to use the fruit of coffee. For those of you who don't know, a lot of times when coffee is grown, they take the fruit and they throw it away. They get rid of it, right? But now they learn to use the fruit and create a beverage called Riff Alter Ego, where they infuse the coffee fruit with sparkling water. And it produces this amazing taste and this great product. Do your research, learn about the coffee fruit, and fall in love with Riff. That's what Riff is. And then we have Pathwater, who's doing an amazing job right now. They've grown tremendously. It's both of these products are all about sustainability. And Pathwater, their mission is to get rid of single-use plastic water bottles. Also, for those of you who don't know, plastic is taking over the world. If you look it up, you look in the ocean, people are polluting the ocean water with plastic, and it's killing the fish, it's killing everything in the ocean, because a lot of times these sharks and these everything beneath the sea, they'll come up because they think this plastic is a bird or some prey that they want to feed off of, right? And they don't know. And it's killing. San Francisco banned plastic, and whenever you go to the SFO, San Francisco Airport, you'll see Pathwater has taken over because of their mission to make the world a better place. So get Path, drink Path, drink Riff, Alter Ego. Appreciate you.
Yeah, welcome back to Sports and Street Talk. Again, check us out on www.snstalk.net for the latest apparel that we got coming out, hats. Got a dope fashion line coming soon. Check us out for all those latest episodes as well. We're going to get back into this topic of culture race. Rock Jones, we really ain't talk about the culture of Atlanta, man.
Let's talk about that.
Let's
Let's
talk about the A, man. You know, it goes down in the A.
Y'all, I grew up in the city, Macon, Georgia.
Okay,
if y'all
Macon.
know Macon, Georgia, that's where James Brown from, Otis Redding, Young Jeezy, all of them.
Yeah, Young Jeezy.
But much like LA, whether you think Macon, Georgia just an old country town, it's gangs.
For real?
It threw me for a loop when I got to middle school, and the system of learning that I knew to be learning was no longer. Now everybody's in the class playing tunk for money, shooting crap for money.
He said, "Tunk, that's my game too."
And the substitute teachers is playing a game called Big Bank Take Little Bank.
That's a real game.
A real game. And
I thought that was just a song.
and it's a real game. And they pulling out money from everywhere. You remember White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah. Pulling out the hat. Yeah.
Pulling out money from everywhere. So you had to make a choice. You know, you had to be an individual, take the lessons you learned from your grandma and say, okay, I got to stay grounded this way because it's nothing but gangs around me. It's 11 fights every single day. Gang fights. Everybody's getting it.
That's crazy.
You know, and we had to do a lot. We had to do a lot to stay grounded. I was glad I was able to go back and forth to DC, see something different. You know, to me, DC is one of those lands of opportunity. You know, they talk about America being the land of opportunity, but when you have DC, Maryland, and Virginia, because I got a part of each one of them. You know, I wound up going to college in Northern Virginia, and you know, didn't learn much in high school because all we
Big
had
Bank Take Little Bank.
Yeah. And they had another game called Get Like Me.
Get like
where
me.
you flipping quarters and you know for people Jordans and
I'm thinking these
polos.
just song titles, but these is real games y'all playing down there.
It was real game.
Wow.
You know, craziest thing I seen was and the education was bad, so you would see the dumbest shit. You would see people, grandmother get killed for having on red in the West Side. You would see, seeing a guy, he was deaf, just doing the sign language at the store.
Somebody thought he was throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, shot him up.
That's terrible. I want to laugh, but that's terrible.
Yeah.
I do want to laugh though. I ain't gonna lie. That's the comedian in me.
Yeah, I know.
That's the comedian. I just want to laugh.
I'm looking at you.
I just want to laugh. I want to laugh. That's messed up. But he really.
Yeah.
And somebody shot him thinking he throwing up gang signs. That's ignorant, bro. That is ignorant.
But you had through it all, you had to make a choice.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was extremely hard making that choice. Yeah.
What was the skating rings like? I seen that. You know, that's a big culture part of y'all culture down there.
The culture, as far as the partying, and you know, what you really see, that's how people really are. They ain't in the club just holding the wall. They all dancing and partying and having a good time. You know, same thing with the cookouts and all of that. But you're not in an area where you have a lot of opportunity.
Was you down there around BMF? Like, was that's your era?
Well, you know, I'm a little around that era, but Freaknik, you know, I was around that time period.
That was a good time, I heard.
I saw things that you would never see nowhere else but the Freaknik.
Yeah.
You know, we would go, that was another part of school.
They're like the Go-Go?
Nah.
What is the Freaknik?
Freak?
Let me
I
tell
heard of it, but what exactly goes down
I want him to explain.
at the Freaknik?
So what went down at the Freaknik?
Talk to me.
So imagine one road, Peachtree, that expands about 15 miles and nobody's parked on nothing but the street, and you see everything from women giving niggas, yeah, right. What? Yeah, to women getting ran in the back of the car, you know.
Wow.
And they on the top of the cars, butt naked, shaking. Yeah, it was real. And
That's crazy.
and
We gotta bring that back.
now
Booty in the trees.
it was allowed for them to bring for all my classmates to bring the video cameras and the videos in the class.
Oh wow!
And
So
we watched.
did you go or did you catch
yeah.
it on the bootleg
Both.
DVD joint?
Both.
Both.
Last year I went was '97, and this girl got raped. She got raped real bad. It was a big thing, and
Oh wow.
that's when they shut it down.
Okay.
Yeah, Freaknik '97. But yeah, we had a great time. I mean, back then, as far as the partying and the dancing, but you still, when you went out, you probably came back at some point, got shot at.
Right.
You know, because in Georgia there's no gun laws. You know, you got the right to bear arms, so everybody's got a gun. You know, I remember one. That was another thing about my culture raised. I was raised to have a firearm.
Pistol.
You know, because I think when I was 8 years old, somebody broke into my grandma's house, and I never knew that she had 23 pistols in there.
She let that thing go.
23?
Granny in there letting it rip.
And it just so happened all my family members was all in the house. And she gave everybody a gun. She was pulling guns from everywhere, the closet, up under the bed, and, you know.
Damn, Medea's gunshot.
Yeah, it was.
Granny didn't let it go.
Yeah.
She ain't playing.
And
Medea.
and that was one.
Medea goes to jail.
But did with a gun.
That was one of those lessons I
That Tyler
had.
Perry.
I had to learn. That,
There you go.
You know, you can't have that mentality everywhere you go. You know, everywhere you go, you can't go to Virginia and think you just gonna carry guns.
Yeah.
But
Unless you got the license. You know, that is the right to bear arms state.
yeah, it is too.
Yeah. You gotta have a license.
And nah, you don't.
Nah,
You can check that in Virginia.
You gotta
don't
have.
even-
If you can get a shotgun, then VA.
Yeah, you don't even have to
at
be
the house.
registered.
But you don't have to. If you're trying to carry a pistol outside of your house, then you gotta have the license. But you can have a gun in your crib.
So when I think of Atlanta, right, the culture in Atlanta,
What you think?
I'm thinking like music, man. Y'all got the
Yeah.
beats down there. I mean,
Well,
that trap music is.
The music
It's
has
lit.
evolved into so many different things, because me growing up in the early '90s, it was all really booty shaped music.
Okay.
You heard the Loop, the Quad City DJs, all of that.
But Luke, that's Miami though.
Yeah, but at the same time, Quad City DJs was the what's up with the Banghead Bounce, y'all, or Tootsie Roll. Everybody at the Tootsie Roll.
Roll.
See, that's the type of music.
To the left,
Yeah.
to the right, to the right, to the front. Yeah.
That's what we grew up
Tootsie
listening.
Roll.
But we also grew up listening to So Def, The Brat, you know.
Little Bow Wow.
Yeah, not really.
I'm just saying he was down there, right?
He was
That's
down.
so
Might as well
down
listen to
there.
Justin
Nah, that was around the Soulja Boy era right
Okay,
there.
alright.
That was.
But y'all got that music thing on
Soldier
it.
boy out there, that's it.
Yeah,
But-
man, bro. Yeah.
That was another part of it. You know, it was a party. Everybody had a party at their house. You know, you skipped school, went to somebody's party. My day was Friday. Every other Friday,
You having the party at the
had
crib.
a party.
Wow.
You know, and I really thought that's what
What life was about.
what school was all about. Yeah, once you get to a certain level, it's party time. But you know, I learned a lot being able to travel. You know, I've been everywhere and seen a lot, learned a lot just traveling and seeing other things. Because most of the people that I know from my city, they ain't been nowhere.
Right.
They don't know nothing. You know, and it's a lot of people that I met from other cities that just know what's going on in D.C. and what's going on in Buffalo and Syracuse.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Different walks of life.
outside of Atlanta, most people who tell you they're from Atlanta, they're not. They're from a county on the outskirts of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, and
Alpharetta.
See,
yeah.
we have that issue in LA too, because you know a lot of people move out to LA. Like a lot of people, right? They want to pursue different type of careers in the media. You know, everybody want to be stars, right? When they come out to LA, they're trying to make it. And you know, people I meet out there, they be like, "Yeah, I'm from LA," but deep, No, you're from Kentucky, but you just moved to LA 2 years ago. Now you're claiming that you're from LA. Like, you're not from LA. So people from LA, we know when you from LA. That walk is different. That talk is different. The way you dress is different. Everything is different about you. So it's like, why are you claiming a territory where you're not from there?
DC kind of like that too.
Hell
no. Y'all are full of transients, but you know.
Oh well, DC guy. You know a DC guy when you meet the DC guy.
Yeah.
When he really from here, you be like, oh, okay, yeah, you from? Oh, what school? You be like, oh, okay. That's all you really gotta ask.
Nah, Mo.
Yeah.
I'm good, son.
I'm good, Slim. Yeah.
What's up, Slim? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Mo, cool, yeah.
You could tell. Even if they've transcended and gone outside of the city, if you put them around some DC people, it's gonna come out. It's gonna spill out on the paper.
If we stand inside the states, VD, what's your favorite state outside
Outside of DC?
Yeah, outside this area.
Man, I'm gonna have to go with I love Cali, man.
LA.
Cali.
Yeah, you know he like.
You gonna say okay.
I grew. I feel like I grew up in the Bay Area. I was there for 10 years, and when I arrived, I was like 21 years old. So I was there until I was like 32, 31, and so I learned a lot about the culture of the Bay Area.
Hyphy, huh?
Tell me where to go.
Hey.
With the hyphy movement,
Mm-hmm.
E40, Too Short. Shout out to my guys out there in Cali. Yeah, man, it was just great.
All right, we're gonna get into our segments next. Something that we do, pretty much every week with the Raggedy Rascals, the JP Just Dudes, and the Rock Crops. When we come back from this short break. Here we go. Josh Portis with Sports and Street Talk. Tune in at www.snstalk.net. If you have a product, if you want us to promote, please send us an email at info@snstalk.net. Welcome back to Sports and Street Talk. Again, check our stuff out on www.snntalk.net for all your latest apparel, clothes on the website, our latest videos out there too as well. We're going to get into a segment that we do every week on the show. It's called, my segment is called JP's Just Do. My JP Just Do this week is a guy named TJ Warren.
Oh, who's this?
Exactly. From the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
This guy, he's been averaging about 20 points pretty much the whole season, but in his NBA restart, he's just been lighting it up. I mean, he dropping 53 a couple games ago. He just dropped 27 last night. This is a guy that I didn't know about, and I think he plays shooting guard. Okay. He's from NC State.
All right.
He's been in the league for about 6 years, so he's just getting to like the peak of like his career. It's like getting to his prime. He's like kind of figuring the game out. Okay. His name's TJ Warren. You guys gotta go check him out, man. He's putting on the show right now.
Yeah, he liked it. Yeah. He liked that.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Yeah. You gotta check him out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out.
You gotta check him out.
He played for the Pacers, but last week's Just Do when you gave what's my guy from Cleveland,
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith. He was with the Lakers now.
Yeah.
I had to check him out. He killed last week.
Yeah, JR has been doing it. I told you he has a gunner mentality. I mean, he has no fans in attendance, right? So he's a shooter. He has a shooter's mentality.
The NBA's been on point.
I want you to give James Harden a shout out, man. That's the man.
You like James?
Man, he's amazing, man.
Yeah.
To me, he's a Hall of Famer.
Sneaky. He is a sneaky player. He don't really get a lot of credit.
He doesn't, man. His handle, his ability to shoot, man. Everything is like top notch, man. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's up in that category. You talking about LeBron, KD, man? He's put him in that category. He's a beast, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
He score. You know how to put up points.
You got to.
He can score from anywhere on the court.
When he's done and he's focused, and I like his focus. Whenever you see him, he's always he seems like he's focused.
He don't never have a bad game.
Yeah, he just dropped 40. He just dropped 49 last night against.
He's always dropping 49.
Yeah, he dropped 40 a game.
He's gonna, but when he's done, he's gonna be in that discussion.
Yeah.
Thing about James Harden too is that he has a balanced life too, because before this COVID situation, when I go out, I see James Harden out partying, having a good time.
He gonna turn up.
He gonna turn up.
He's disciplined.
Yeah, but he's disciplined. And the thing about it is he's taking care of his body while he's out. He's not out there drinking. You can enjoy yourself and still, have a solid career. He's not had a solid career. He's had a fabulous career so far.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I kind of agree with you on that one, BD.
You got to balance. We're gonna jump right into my segment real quick. It's Rob's Raggedy Rascal of the Week, and I want to nominate my man, your president, Donald Trump, because he is raggedy, man. He got the kids trying to go back to school while the COVID is out. So you letting people out of prison, but the babies got to go to school. You are the raggediest rascal of them all. You the raggediest rascal of the year, the century, and centuries on centuries on centuries. So what I'm going to tell y'all right now to end off Raggedy Rascal of the Week, please vote. I don't care who you vote for, but don't vote for him. Vote for me, but don't vote for him. And he is the Raggedy Rascal of the Week. So that's for y'all. Take that.
Yeah. And I heard he trying to cancel TikTok too.
And trying to cancel, trying to send the kids to school and cancel TikTok. What you doing, man?
Crazy.
Trying to cancel TikTok.
Come on,
That's
man.
not even his lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not his
Social
lane.
media, you canceling TikTok now? Come on,
Canceling
man.
TikTok.
With
And
Don-
if the kids staying home, hey, my son, he need to talk. Give it a nickname. He needs to talk. If it ain't no talk,
tick, but he need to talk.
he need to talk. You
He
know
need
what I'm
to
saying?
talk.
He gonna worry the hell out of me without the tick or the top.
So just keep the talk.
Yeah, keep the talk. We got to do something. I don't agree with him. I don't like it. You
Yeah,
gotta
well,
do something.
Oh man, that's funny.
yeah.
gotta figure it out.
My segment is Rocks Crops. Y'all can check it out on YouTube this week. We're cooking up biochar, inoculating and activating biochar just to keep the microbes living in the soil. So if y'all want to learn about that, check out the YouTube. Remember, subscribe, give us comments. Sports and Street Talk, Rock Crops. Let's go.
Okay. So what I'm thinking about is, what's going on with this NBA restart right now. You got players that are just trying to get situated back into the groove of playing basketball, right? The Lakers are kind of like okay doing right now. LeBron is not really being LeBron. He's only averaging 19 on this NBA restart, but
Terrible.
it's something that I'm really anxious to see because playoff LeBron is different from the NBA restart. So I kind of want to see what goes on with this NBA restart, see what teams are. But
LeBron look like preseason LeBron right now. Why are you gonna lie?
I was actually surprised. I like the way the season is shaping up though. Like I thought it was gonna look kind of diluted and watered down. But look
Everybody else looks good except for LeBron. LeBron does not look good right now.
LeBron's getting old, man. Come on, take it easy. Gray hair's coming in. He's getting old, man. Sometimes people get at their peak and they just. Hey, man, you take a break,
think so?
come back. He probably just. That's been a long time, man. It's a big
5 months.
a person of the ability of an athlete can be totally different from this year versus last year. You know what I mean? Just change. Sometimes it just change. Maybe he's done.
Think he done?
right.
Maybe I don't think so. I'm a LeBron fan. I love LeBron. I think he's one of the greatest athletes of all time.
No doubt.
Right? I'm sure you guys can attest to that. But
Yeah, absolutely.
hey, man, I'm just saying.
It's
I'm
coming.
just saying.
It's winding down.
That's what I'm saying. But hey, what we need to talk about is how long is the NBA and NFL is going to continue to play the game, right? How long is this game going to last before COVID starts to take over the locker room, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How long? When is that going to happen? We didn't. No one's talking about that.
Right.
Are they going to have to shut it down again? What's going to happen? Because you have to understand. Like if I was playing this year, I would probably forfeit the season.
So if a player forfeits the season, right? Does a player also forfeit the money for the season?
No, they got a certain payout.
Right, you get a certain payout, and they should have the right to because look, they have families, right? You have kids. You have a wife,
you got a responsibility. Yeah.
This stuff has killed people, man.
Nah, it's
Yeah.
killing
We
people.
still have to keep that in mind. Just
Right.
you putting your life in when you walk into this locker room, you're putting your life in jeopedy as well as your family,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
What if your family's at home sick? Some people have families. Some people have wives and kids who maybe have a disorder, maybe have cancer, or maybe just their immune system is weak, right?
Right,
Now you're putting their life in jeopardy. So we have to take that in consideration. So how long is football going to last this season? How long is basketball going to last? Will the playoffs go all the way through? Will the football season go all the way through?
It's-
I think they
Who
cut the
knows?
season.
To piggyback off what you said, Vernon, you're gonna see a lot more players opting out, and you're gonna see. You see, Patrick Chung, from Patriots opting out.
Yeah.
You got more players opting out every week.
Deadline ended today though, so I don't think they can opt out no more unless they got a certain type of ailment or something.
Unless the NFL opts out.
It's a high risk,
Yeah, they did, right.
a high risk
The
player.
NFL opts out.
The NFL is not going to opt out because it's money on the line.
But if
We talk
everybody's
about-
getting sick, if the coaches and the players getting sick, they have no choice. If it's spreading around like wildfires,
They're gonna let it.
They-
They're gonna
they
let
lose.
it. They're gonna let it stay where it is until it spreads like wildfire and force them to have to cancel.
hey, well, we're going to see. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. I don't know.
I'd hope not. I would hope that somebody at the top would be a little bit more responsible, but I see them letting it spread like wildfire and forcing them to have to quit everything.
So quick question. Let's get back into culture raise real quick. So do y'all believe culture raise is collective or individual?
Great question. I'll let you take that one, Vern.
Is it collected? Repeat your question again.
So is it more of a collectivist type of deal or individualism type where you're taking on your own culture, you're pretty much raising your child the way that you want to raise your child. You know, the kids around you that you're mentoring them in a certain way, not how you were raised, not the collective from your grandma to your dad to your mom. You know, when I say collective, I mean everybody took a part in bringing you up.
Yeah. Gosh, that's deep, man. That's deep. I think as an individual, as a human being, we all have the right, and we have the right to make decisions, right? We make decisions based on how we perceive things, and what happens, it's like a disease that spreads, right? You pick up certain things, and all of a sudden you have everyone in this one place who believes in the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Based off one decision that you decided to make, and that's how culture is shaped. Culture is shaped based off that. I don't know if I'm going in the wrong direction.
You're dead on. I
But
mean,
yeah, I think
I was
culture
thinking about
is shaped.
how music influences.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's just like you have African Americans who believe in hip hop. Right. We have this hip hop culture. We wear chains, we wear watches, right? Yep. We wear our hats backwards, and it's a culture that we picked up along the way. You know, it's just it's one belief that starts, and then everyone picks up on it, and they either believe in it or not. But it all starts with the individual. It's just individuals coming together to make one thing.
I agree with Vernon in the sense of culture is individualized and then it's group. So like you might have saw that bucket hat in the store and picked it up and you liked it, and that's personally your style. That's something that you really like to do. But then somebody else pick it up and like, I like that bucket. Where you get the bucket from? You like, man, I got it from such and such and such and such. Now everybody wearing bucket hats, and that's how things spread. So I think that people, it's individual first because you have leaders, people who are leaders, right? That do stuff. Like I've been turning my hat backwards since I was 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now as an adult, or somebody sees me as an adult and says, "Oh, you just starting out, dog. I've been doing this." You know what I mean? So then my son sees it on me, and now he does it.
The question is, was there an influencer there, or did you?
I think within Black culture, we take something that it could be the smallest thing, whatever it is that we could afford, and we try to make it cool. And I think by trying to make something cool, you create something, right?
So
by being different.
I don't know if we really answered the question. Is it collective or individual?
I think it's
collective.
I think it's individual that becomes collective. Right. You know what I mean?
Having your own style and adapting or fitting into that culture.
Right. I think that's what it is. I think it's like Jay, he's from LA, right? He wear Chucks. But when he come to DC is not a Chuck type culture. But if somebody see him wearing Chucks, they might be like, "Hey, bro, I like them shoes. Mm-hmm. You know, where you get them from?" Oh, this LA culture. Now it becomes a DC culture because he brought that here. Mm-hmm. So it was individual first, and then people saw it, and then became
having your own style and you know, fitting in to the culture that's
and then having that culture fit you,
right,
in a sense.
Yeah, it's like opening your eyes, and then if you open your eyes and you see something in the room that you like, you're gonna go with what you like, right?
Right.
It's like everyone has to make a decision. You make a decision on what you want, and then all of a sudden people buy in or they don't. They go this way or that way, and all of a sudden a group is formed. Mm-hmm. So everyone's making a decision. I think you just make a decision and you go with it, and then that forms the culture.
Speaking of culture, I mean, if you go upstairs, and in my condo currently at the moment, all you see is Vans and Chucks. That's all I rock. That's all I rock.
Makes me sick.
Different color Chucks, different color Vans, white tee, black tees, and some khakis and some black jeans and a gold chain.
They
Cute.
Vans, but they also sneakers.
Like sneakers.
Right.
So that,
But they look
Like sneakers, you know. So that's just me. That's just who I am. You like it or you don't, you know. Just like everybody else has a style here. I know style here in DC is people like to rock New Balances.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what they wear out here. You know.
and it will continue to be passed down from generation to generation.
I think so.
to generation.
Until somebody changes it or somebody comes along and be like, I don't like that. We're gonna do it this way. Yeah.
Change it, man. Or something happens to you. Like I used to wear New Balances all the time until my big toe, one big toe grew bigger than the other one. I had to stop wearing them.
What? Wait, what? We're not gonna just.
Man, football,
so you
man.
just no.
Football, man, inflammation,
So
man.
no. So you just sitting here with two different size big toes?
Hey man, I had to stop wearing New Balances, man. It wasn't cool for me anymore, man. Because you know, with New Balance, you see your bunion bone, you can see your shoe. Yeah, there's something about the shoe to make you can see your toes and your shoes. So you know what I mean. If one fingernail is. If a nail is growing longer than the other, you can see that nail poking through. I guess the fabric is soft.
No, you're not gonna just slide
The
that
fabric
fact
is
that you
soft.
got two different size big toes.
Hey,
That's
look,
what
man, you can make fun of me if you want, man, but I can't wear New Balances because of it. I'm sad, man. You hurt my feelings.
So you wear the bobos.
But you know, I wear Nikes all day. The fabric is tough. There's something about the fabric is just tough.
We're gonna talk about these toes offline, but it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vernon, for dropping through, man.
Duke in the building came through.
Appreciate you, man.
On Sports and Street Talk. Like I said, this is wraps episode 4 up in Culture Race. Check our stuff out again on www.snsandtalk.net for all the latest apparel. Stay tuned for the next episode. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Run it up.